and welcome to the first instalment of this year's British Triathlon Super Series. Over the coming months, we'll be bringing you action from around the UK, Welsh valleys, country estates, royal towns and the streets of London. And for round one, we start right here in Scotland. Strathclyde Country Park in North Lanarkshire is the perfect setting for a world-class multi-sport event, and that's why the Commonwealth Games Triathlon will be here when Glasgow play host in 2014. So with 5 years to go, it's an early opportunity to test the course and the best of British. Because as well as offering the first Super Series points of the season, these races also double up as the Olympic Distance National Championships, and the lure of that prestigious title has attracted some of the best in the business. Here's our commentator Patrick Winterton with a guide to the Strathclyde course and conditions.
Strathclyde Country Park next to the River Clyde is a source of entertainment for the locals, and there'll be plenty more when it becomes one of the venues for Lanarkshire's hosting of the 2011 International Children's Games. And then in 2014 it hosts the Commonwealth Games Triathlon. But today, North Lanarkshire and Strathclyde Country Park holds the first event of the British Triathlon Super Series. A 1.5 kilometre swim is followed by 40 kilometres on the bike, and then they finish it off with a gruelling 10 kilometre run. Some of the best women in the game are here today. Katrina Morrison and Kerry Lang are the local favourites, but Jodie Swallow, last year's series winner, has to be the one to watch.
It's Scotland, and I always do quite well in Scotland. I was working it out. I podiumed as a European swimmer. I got the student 5k record up here. Came third last year. I haven't really been off the podium, so I've got to keep that record going.
One of the Scottish women in particular would be out to make that difficult for Jodie in the water. You were fifth at the Nationals last year at Bryn Bach. Are you confident maybe you can go better here?
Yeah, I hope so. We'll see.
Who else are you keeping your eye on?
Well, I think it's no secret Jodie and I are strong swimmers, so hopefully we'll get away in the swim and the bike and take it from there.
Perhaps aware of the threat from fellow Scot and duathlon specialist Katrina Morrison on the land sections, it was Lang leading the swim.
I knew after about 50 metres I was in the lead. I was right out in front by myself there, and Jodie gave me a few taps on my feet. I kind of knew that it was Jodie. She came sort of up beside me and I recognised her stroke.
So Kerry Lang and Jodie Swallow dominating the swim as they promised they would. Let's get straight out to our commentator, Patrick Winterton.
So after 1,500 metres, an excellent swim as expected from both Swallow and Lang. I think they'll be a little surprised that Vanessa Raw is up there with them as well, coming out of the water in third position. Now into T1. This is where valuable seconds can be gained, and Kerry Lang wasting no time getting the top of the wetsuit off. The legs often more difficult. Multitasking from Kerry Lang, and she'll be on to the bike first. Raw in third place at the moment. She didn't race much last year. She's had a few injury problems over the last couple of seasons, but is a huge talent. Away goes Lang. Jodie Swallow, 1946 out of the water. She's taken the transition very steady indeed, but no need to panic at this stage. Lang looking a little nervous on the first few corners, and it's a very technical course indeed with 7 laps to be completed, plenty of corners to be negotiated. Raw taking her time in T1, she missed her opportunity. Stimpson just coming into the transition, but there's absolutely no sign of Katrina Morrison of Scotland.
While the battle on the bike section was underway, there were still a few navigational issues for the back markers. Further ahead, there were two young talents chasing the lead pair of Swallow and Lang. Vanessa Raw joined in third place by Olympic Foundation squad member Jodie Stimpson. Coached by Michelle Dillon, the 20-year-old was looking stronger than ever in her season opener as she closed Raw down.
I think I started to see her on the third lap, and then I started to reel her in, and I noticed that she was slowing down quite a bit. We worked really well together. She was really strong, and that's when we started to knock a couple of seconds off, but it just wasn't enough.
Catching the experienced pair up front would be a tall order on the 7-lap, 40-kilometre course.
We were pretty confident that if we did work together, then we could get a good lead on the rest of the field. Katrina Morrison is probably the strongest biker in the chase packs, but she didn't have a great day. She wasn't feeling too well today, so that probably worked to Jodie and my advantage, because she certainly would have been a threat on the run had she managed to be there at the end of the bike.
There was nothing the unfortunate Morrison could do but offer encouragement as the lead pair rolled into T2, possibly relieved that the Scot was only a spectator for the run.
So into transition 2, and Lang and Swallow neck and neck pretty much all the way through so far. Now, Kerry Lang was very quick through T1, and I wonder whether she can steal a few seconds here on Jodie Swallow. On with the running shoes. Lang is away quickly again. Just a couple of seconds in it. Swallow, though, an excellent runner, specialist swimmer and runner as a junior at school. She will fancy her chances. Lang front running at the moment. This is a psychological game as much as a physical one. She looks a little bit tight. Swallow straight into her running, flying round the corners. 10 kilometres, remember, for the run. It takes a good kilometre to get the blood back into the right parts of the body for the run. Swallow well practiced in those transitions from one discipline to another. Stimpson pushing hard, frantic activity in T2, and she gets away in third place. She's gone ahead of Raw. A really determined athlete, Stimpson, the British junior duathlon champion last year. She's been training with Stuart Hayes this winter, and there's no doubt it's made a big, big difference. Now Raw sitting down, that's not good body language from Raw, and I would suggest she's got a few problems, maybe cramp, maybe cold feet still affecting her after the swim. Back with the two leaders. Kerry Lang on the right of your screen, as you can see, finished 5th last year here and in London and in Brimbach, so she'll be delighted to be up in the top 2. But Swallow just moving ominously through. Strong, strong running, looking totally focused, Swallow. Nice style, good strong runner. And an excellent junior, as I mentioned, so she will really be feeling confident at the moment. Lang has to tuck in and stay with her.
In third place, Vanessa Raw was feeling those injuries, leaving the fast improving Stimpson to see how quick she could be on the run.
In my mind was, right, where are they? And I just wanted to chase them down. I started to run strong, and I struggled a bit on the run today. I'm running better than that, and I know I can run better than that, but the girls they just had too much on me when I was going out onto the run.
For Swallow, another national title was getting closer, and with that, the nerves were showing. But the former English schools cross-country champion is every bit as strong on the run as she is on the swim and the bike. It was tough going for Kerry Lang.
My plan was really to focus on myself and my run, and to run within sort of my capabilities, and whether that was in front of Jodie, with Jodie or behind Jodie, it was really just my race I was focusing on.
And it was Jodie Swallow's race in the end. More happy days in Scotland for her, and the perfect start to the defence of her Super Series title. National champion, Really good race, well executed. You must be delighted with that.
Yeah, I am. I mean, I always wanted to be national champion again. It means a lot to me, so it's great to do it. Sort of, I think it's my 4th time, so I don't know what the record is, but I'll aim for that in future years.
Second in this race was a career best for Kerry Lang, as was third for Stimson. Vanessa Raw failed to finish, but seeing her back in action was a great sign for the future. So the first Super Series points of the season have been awarded, and the first of our 2 national titles here in Scotland. Jodie Swallow is the Olympic distance British champion. What a way for her to start her season. As for the elite men, they've got it all to come. Join us after the break to find out how their intriguing race will unfold. See you in a couple of minutes. Welcome back to round 1 of the British Triathlon Super Series here in Strathclyde Park. Now, all around the UK every year, thousands of men and women take up the sport, and this is the standard they're aiming to emulate. The British male elite in particular have a wealth of talent in Great Britain, and each and every one of them will want to start this series with a win. Will Clark goes into the race as reigning national triathlon champion over Olympic distance, winning the title from the best of his contemporaries and senior athletes alike in South Wales last year. Confident that you could defend that title here?
Yeah, I've got a really good record in the chorus races and the British Triathlon races so far that I've done. I think I've raced 4, crashed in 1 and won the other 3. So I've never lost here, so I hope it would be another good race. I feel a lot more structured, and it's a good amount of speed work in there, and yeah, I feel quite well prepared.
The Pink is back in 2009, and after impressive victories in Lisbon and South Africa earlier this year, Dan Brook is on course for an improvement on his 3rd place in last year's British Triathlon Super Series. The strong swim biker is always a threat.
My running's maybe not as quick as I have been before, but I'm really strong, and you know, as you can see, the course here is quite hilly, so we'll just see how it goes. And you know, I know I'm really strong on the bike, and I know I'm really strong on the run as well, so just see how it goes, take it as it comes.
I think you were sort of 5th or 6th at the Nationals last year at Bryn Bach, but I'm gathering you might do a bit better this weekend.
Yeah, we'll just have to see.
Well, what a race this could be. Will Clark, the defending British champion, the Olympian with a point to prove. Good luck, Will. Up against Dan Brook, the man in form who's already registered victories this season in Lisbon and South Africa. A poor start for the favourite Will Clark. On his weakest leg, he was caught up in the flailing arms of Britain's best, while Dan Brook was exactly where he wanted to be.
I got an amazing start. I dove in and somehow ended up about a body length in front of everybody else, which is just the dream scenario, really. I think I was on the front until the first buoy, and then coming back down, I just sort of dropped a few places back.
One thing you'll always get from Olympian Clark is an honest appraisal.
I had a rubbish start. Not sure I'm going to have to have a think about that one and maybe do a bit more speed work on the swimming, but it wasn't ideal. I just built through and used some fitness to kind of weave my way towards the front, and luckily I kept out of trouble.
With Bradley Hales making waves as T1 approached, would there be enough determined bikers to make Clark pay for that poor swim? Time to find out with Patrick Winterton.
Just a few metres to go in the swim, and this leading group consisting of 13 swimmers. Not much more than 15 seconds separating first to last. Excellent swim from James Locke and Bradley Hales, 2 specialists. I don't expect to see them up there in the bike. Jaroslav Kovacic of Slovenia is in there. Aaron Harris has had an excellent run, and here comes Harris storming through the transition. He knows every second can count in a race of this level. Will Clark, as mentioned, not having his best ever swim. There he is. He's lost, 10-11 seconds, but did manage to hang on to the back of that front group. Now remember, Clark, he's the reigning national champion. He also won here last year in Strathclyde, defending 2 titles today. Also up there, Dan Brook wearing the blue suit. Number 3 is Aaron Harris, just slipping the feet into his bike shoes, and he's got a lead of some 20 metres. Clark starting to make up ground now. He's very, very smooth through the transition, and he's made his way through the pack incredibly quickly. Clark on a mission now as he sets out on the 40-kilometre bike. Shouting at Harris to go with him. Harris responds well, right onto the back wheel. Those two could do some damage to the leading riders. Kovacic is in there. Joss McHugh for Australia, still riding without his feet in his shoes. He'll need to put that right fairly quickly.
Clark's early burst on the bike took care of any worries he might have, and all eyes were on the race favourite as he repeatedly tried to split up the pack that contained the Australian McHugh, Kovacic of Slovenia, Brook, and the talented 21-year-old Aaron Harris, a member of the 2012 Foundation squad and already identified as one to watch for the future. A few technical problems for Harris, but Dan Brook wasn't going to let him drop off the pace that easily.
We're working really well on the bike as a pack. I was kind of communicating with the others, trying to spur them on, work together.
It was all very sporting. Well, mostly.
Those boys were really hurting me on the bike though. I mean, they know that I've been racing 70.3 and they know that I've probably not got the power spikes that they've got. And so yeah, I was really struggling, going up the hills, coming up the roundabouts. They were really putting the power down. But I got in a good group who were willing to just sort of, roll through steadily. And, I couldn't go with Will when he went. He just put too much power down and, he just got a good gap. But he was riding really strong.
Clark had the power spikes and so did Matt Sharp, who got away on his own on lap 3. All too briefly though, Will Clark wasn't having any of it, and this burst took him and Kovacic away on their own.
I was trying to put as much hurt on the guys as possible, and actually I didn't want to get away on my own, but I did, but it's not ideal because it's just the hardest way to win a race. But I got away eventually with a Slovakian guy, I think, and we put a bit of time in, and then eventually he dropped off naturally.
Whether you're Slovakian, Slovenian or just from Slough, it is indeed very natural not to want to ride with Clark when he's in this kind of mood. Like it or not, he was out to win this one from the front.
I wasn't expecting that on the bike from him, to be honest with you. I thought we were going to catch him up as a pack, but he rode really, really strong.
A good show from Matt Sharp in this race, but his hopes faded into the tarmac on lap 5. With the run approaching, there would be no way back onto the podium for Sharp, and Will Clark, still out on his own, began to have an iron grip on the race. We pick it up on the last lap of the bike with Patrick Winterton.
Clark approaching the corner that gave Matt Sharp problems earlier on. Looks a little tentative, but accelerates out nicely. And surely he is on his way to defend the Strathclyde title and, of course, his national title as well. Excellent performance from Clark. 1:10 clear of Harris. Harris, Brook, McHugh and Kovacic all very tightly bunched. That will be an interesting finish to see who claims the podium places. Clark making his way up the big climb. He'll get a view of the chasing bunch. There they go, 1:10 behind. He's also approaching some of the slower races, lapping them. Few problems with the gears. Now he turns on the power again. Oh, what a disaster! Now, the chain has jumped and Clark has gone down heavily. He seemed to roll out of it nicely. And amazingly, he's come out of that uninjured. The bike, well, I think the tyre has just come off the rim. He's put that to rights. Well, that is astonishing. Clark is back on his bike. It's taken him some 35 seconds. The question is, how much damage is done and can he recompose himself for the rest of the race? The chasing pack know nothing about it at the moment, but they are still pushing very, very hard. Brook is in there. McHugh of Australia, he needs a good result to impress the Australian selectors. And Kovacic of Slovenia, pretty much an unknown force, has stuck with that chasing group. Well, there are the war wounds on Clark. He doesn't look too concerned. More concerned about those behind him. And he's still clear. Well, let's have another look at what happens. Remember, it's quite a steep section, so he's really applying the power. That might have saved him, the fact that he wasn't going as fast as he would have been on a flat section. He goes down before he knows anything about it. But what's so astonishing is his only concern is for his bike and the race. Well, what a recovery from Clark. If he wins here today, he will deserve it more than ever. Into T2, still running well. 10 kilometres still to go. Watch his drills through the transition. You can learn a lot from the way this man operates. Shoes slip on nicely. Many of the racers putting Vaseline in the shoes to aid that. Headband, glasses and a little bit of fuel. Away he goes. Aaron Harris still pushing hard. He's broken away from the rest. From Bath University, Aaron Harris. Bath, the #2 university in the country, behind Loughborough. There goes Kovacic. There's Dan Brook with the blue and red suit. A problem with his shoe, possibly the insole slipping there, and away he goes. Not a natural runner, you can see, compared to Will Clark up the front. Really in a class of his own today. Another brilliant performance from him, and he's straight into that fluent running that has brought him so much success in the past.
You okay, Will?
Well, the loss of blood has had no detrimental effect on Clark today. His main challenger is, of course, Aaron Harris, and here he comes, powering up the straight, breaking away from the other chasers. And Harris, the 20-year-old, has put in a really top performance today. Has he left himself with too much to do?
Clark was out in front and the blood wasn't worrying him, but could training partner Aaron Harris get the leader's pulse racing?
On the first lap, I saw it was pretty close, especially on the uphill coming around the back of the course. But then from the second lap, he just opened up the gap. He was far too strong.
It's sometimes quite difficult to, keep yourself in the right frame of mind when something does go wrong. It's easy to panic. I could see that Aaron was absolutely hammering it, and I just knew that if I went out like that, I just wouldn't have the pace to stay with it. So I just thought it was just all about settling into my pace and just running my own race.
After his moment of drama on the bike, Clark kept his nerve, regained his composure and his national title with a 30-minute, 39-second 10k run to finish his day in Strathclyde in glory.
I love racing like that. I love, if I can get out of the swim in a decent place, put time on the bike, especially on my own, then I'm stoked with that, and that's the best way possible to win a race. It's the most exciting for F1.
Aaron Harris laid down his very impressive marker with second place, pushing a genuinely world-class competitor very close on the day. It was third ahead of the international trio of Kovacic, McHugh and Noble. That was Harris's best career result though, and makes him a real contender for the rest of the British Triathlon Super Series in 2009. Aaron, that was one heck of a run.
Yeah, totally unexpected. I was actually aiming for top 5. I'd have been really, grateful and happy with top 5, but to come away with a silver medal is unbelievable, really. Especially to Will Clark as well. Really happy.
Well, it's 5 years until the Commonwealth Games triathlon descend on Strathclyde Country Park, and from what we've seen here, the course will provide a fantastic occasion. As for today, the 2 national titles, the Super Series points and the early momentum all belong to Jodie Swallow and Will Clark. But there's a long way to go this season. Round 2 takes us to Blenheim and the Oxfordshire sunshine. In the meantime, from everybody here in Scotland, goodbye for now.